Hey guys, welcome back to the Witchcraft Cycle Workshop, and as promised in previous videos, we're here with the wife's 89 Softail Custom, beautiful bike, and we're gonna strip it down, rip it apart, and cut the frame, because that's just what we do here. But anyway, if you're going to completely redo a bike like this, take it down to nothing, first of all, take a lot of photos. Take before photos, take during photos, take after photos. Document everything, especially for like reassembly later. Take photos up close of the wiring, where everything goes, how parts go together, where all the oil lines go, that sort of thing. So that way when you go to put it together later, you got an idea, reminder of how it all went together. When you strip one all the way down to the frame, it's going to come apart in assemblies, the front end, the handlebars, the motor, it's going to come apart in assemblies. So a lot of that, you're going to have room to store all this. So you're going to have a spot in your shop to store all these extra parts, label things. If you have a lot of small nuts and bolts, keep them with the parts they came off of. Again, take photos. Freezer Ziploc baggies work good. Put all your loose nuts and bolts in a freezer Ziploc baggie and label it. So like all the bolts that come off the primary cover, put them in a Ziploc baggie and mark what they are. When the forward controls come off, I'll take the bolts, keep them with the forward controls. So it makes it easier to put it all back together later. It's a big job, but in the end, it'll all be worth it. When we're done, we'll sandblast the frame, paint it all up. But in the meantime, we got to tear it all down. So here we go. All right, day 3, and we have our 89 Softail Custom stripped out, and I think the next step is to get this thing in the bed of the truck, get it to the car wash, and blast some of the mud and grease and whatnot off this thing. 35 years of grease and grime. Stripping a bike down to nothing is not an easy job, but nothing worth doing is ever easy. So we're going to get this thing loaded up. We're going to get her blasted, cleaned up a little bit, and then we're going to get her on the frame rack and start with the fun stuff. Stay tuned. Off to the car wash. Did you see any soap in there? Yeah, I didn't either. I might have to talk to the owners of this joint. Want to spend a little bit of time here trying to get the lower part of the frame as level as we can to the rack so that we can get a true reading on our neck when we cut it and re-weld it later. Got a little angle gauge here, digital one. Also have this very simple angle gauge magnetic mount. Either one will get you close enough to get her right. All right, so we've got the frame on the frame rack, and we have these cones that center the neck in the rod here, and then in the back we have these two spacers. This keeps the rear of the bike centered down the center line. So we have the back loose, we have this loose, and what we're going to do, these here, we're going to tighten these up, we're going to pivot, and we're going to level the frame to the level of the rack so that we have everything all nice and zeroed out before we cut the neck and change our angles. Takes a little bit of time, but we want to spend some time here and make sure we get this right. All right, so we've got our frame leveled to the rack. So we got our height here. We're going to tighten our rear axle clamp up, tighten this up, hold our angle on our neck, tighten these up because we now have our side to side, because we know the rear end's centered, we know the neck is centered, so that gives us our side to side here. So now what we're going to do is tighten everything up and hold it in position. Then we can start cutting. All right, double check everything, make some notations on where we're at, and then we will start to cut right along the neck here and angle it out. I think we're going 40 degrees on the neck with a 5-degree tree. It'll give us a 45 overall when we're done. All right, here we go. So with our digital angle finder, we are 0.45 degrees. This thing is very sensitive. Here we're showing 0.60, 0.55. It's very sensitive, but this is an angle meter. Tells us what kind of tip we're at. So we are within half of a degree of level here. So let's check our frame. So our frame is within a couple tenths of a percent of 1 degree level with the frame rack. And double check, and we have our 30-degree stock neck angle, and we are going to take that out to about 40. So what we will do, what's nice about this frame rack is now I can cut this And then we can move this whole, we can take this loose, slide this bar over out of the way. I can prep this area, grind all the paint back, get it ready for welding. I can move the rod back, angle it to the 40 degrees we want, lock everything in place, and that holds everything nice straight so that we can re-weld it. And then the other nice feature about this is, with our rotisserie feature, we can literally rotate the thing over and weld both sides at a nice downhand angle. Makes it really nice. If you're going to do more than one bike, it's worth the investment in this, and we're going to do more than one bike. So follow along and let the fun begin. All right, so here we go. We are going to end up cutting this webbing out. We're going to cut up just along the inside of this tube, angled down here, come along, and we'll end up cutting this out. This whole wedge here will be replaced with another couple of pieces of steel. And you can use hacksaw, you can use a reciprocating saw, or I like to use just a grinder with a cutoff disc. But either way, the point of no return. Well, now we got a chopper. Step one, cut the neck off.